So today I'll be presenting to you one of our forthcoming papers in Journal of Consumer Research, which is titled Safe Together, Vulnerable Apart, How Interstitial Space in Text Logos Impacts Brand Attitudes in Tight versus Loose Cultures. So I have co-authored this paper with Professor Henrik Hagwid from Boston College. And in this paper, we basically look at the meaning of empty space within logos and how different cultures interpret the same empty space differently. So logos are actually carriers of brand meaning. And we all know that companies tend to spend a lot of money and lot of thinking to come up with the perfect logo. And there's a lot of research that goes behind that. And one of the main goals of visual branding is to design logos in such a way that they connote specific desired brand associations or specific associations about a particular product. So in this research, we have focused on the association of product safety. So whether the logo connotes a sense of safety or not in terms of the design. So what have we come so far in terms of knowing which design features cue safety? So if you look at design literature so far, there has been some research, empirical research that has shown that when you have logos that have a boundary around the brand name, so a boundary creates a sense of protection around the brand, and this actually creates a sense of safety. And then there is another stream of literature that shows that the type of font or the typeface that you use in logos could create a sense of safety or not. And it has been shown that when you use ambiguous typefaces, it tends to reduce the sense of safety that people derive from that logo. And then there's also prior studies that have shown that the way the elements within the logo, the visual symbols, the way they are arranged also tends to connote safety. So if you have a design which has a stable center of gravity, which you think would not topple over, so those kind of balanced designs tend to connote safety, whereas unbalanced looking designs tend to reduce the sense of safety that people derive. And in this paper, actually, we are looking at the way space is added within the alphabets in the brand name as one more possible design feature that could influence the way people process safety. So getting into space itself, if we actually look at the field of visual anthropology, it has been studied by this visual anthropologist called Mortelmans, where he says that people's response to emptiness in any kind of a design could be classified into two categories. The first is horror vacui, which is the fear of empty spaces. And the second is amor vacui, which is the love for empty spaces. So horror vacui actually has been observed and recorded a lot in primitive societies. So if you see any kind of art done by primitive societies like tribal art, they're not comfortable leaving any empty spaces in between their designs. They tend to fill up every space, and that filling up actually gives them a sense of comfort and completeness, whereas leaving empty spaces in between really makes them feel discomfort and unsafe. Whereas the other response to empty space is amor vacui, which is the love for empty spaces, where emptiness is seen as aesthetic and beautiful. And this is mostly seen in civilized societies or higher classes, where empty space marks as a class of good taste. So even if you look at the whole minimalistic art movement, people tend to associate emptiness with class and distinction. So this is again like another kind of a response that people could have when it comes to emptiness in visual design. So we have seen a lot of evidence of amor vacui working very well in visual branding. For example, in advertising, you would have come across these really sleek and premium looking ads where the whole page is empty and there's just some small text and a small image in the corner. So this tends to connote status and expensiveness, and it also eases the processing of the consumer when they're looking at the ad, and it also connotes that you're burning money by just buying such a huge ad space when you just want to say one word. But then what about space within logos? So far, like, research has looked at advertising and looked at retail. But then when we talk about logos and the space within logos, do you think amor vacui is in place, or is it horror vacui? Like, what could be happening? So if to explore that question, we actually looked at this design feature called tracking. So you have tight tracking versus loose tracking, which is basically the interstitial space between the letters on the brand name in a logo. And these are some examples of tightly tracked logos versus loosely tracked logos. So far, when you look at the semiotic functions of space, so what exactly does space mean to people? How do they process it? So we have talked about amor vacui so far, which is about empty space working as a signal for capital. So even if you look at physical spaces like ownership of property, we see that rich people tend to own bigger houses, whereas people with lesser money tend to live in more crammed homes or crammed societies. So space itself is like a capital, and having more space or having the ability to spread yourself and occupy a lot of space is a signal of prestige and status, which has been shown. And then space as emptiness. So if you look at advertising, if there are too many elements cluttered onto the same space of that ad, if there's emptiness in between, it actually eases your processing. So space is like emptiness where there's nothing to be processed. It's like a break, taking a break from the information. So even that is like one possible function of empty space. But when we are talking about adding space between letters of a word, then the function of that space becomes separation. So in that context, space is actually acting as a force that is separating something which was otherwise meant to be together. So then what is happening is this particular function of empty space, it's adding vulnerability. So it's signaling a sense of vulnerability because you're separating out things which were otherwise supposed to come together. And this is something which aligns back to the horror vacui kind of a response to empty space. In our research, we actually look at the metaphor of proximity strength or separation is vulnerability. So this is basically the metaphor of multiple things which are close together, bound tightly together, tend to be stronger. But when you separate them into individual pieces, then each individual piece becomes vulnerable to threat. So you would have come across this Aesop's fable story where a father asks kids to tie up all the sticks together and tries and ask them to try to break that bunch. It's very difficult to break the bunch, but when you separate the bunch into individual sticks, each stick is very easy to break. So then the separation actually makes it vulnerable. And even if you look at physics, the way molecular structures of different states of matter, so you know that solids have a very tight molecular structure with everything closely bound together, the molecules, whereas liquids and gases have a very fluidic and everything is moving apart. And we know from physical experience that solids tend to be much durable and tough, whereas liquids and gases tend to be more vulnerable and malleable. And even when you look at actually social experiences of people also, whenever you're facing any threat, people tend to huddle together into a group to protect each other, whereas if you're all alone, you tend to be more vulnerable to any kind of a social threat that you're facing. So these experiences tend to map to our hypothesis that when it comes to logos, tightly arranged elements connote brand safety or product safety, whereas loosely floating elements tend to reduce that sense of safety. And then we bring in culture as a moderator. So it's not that this particular association is always universal and applies across. So we were looking at cultural tightness as a moderator or a situation where this effect may or may not work. So cultural tightness is actually a social adaptation to threats, because we are looking at external threats acting upon a certain body, and that body responds to that threat. So tight cultures are actually associated with historical exposure to threat, chronically exposed to threats, like countries For example, countries like India and Pakistan, they have been attacked by invaders from centuries, and even neighboring countries attacking each other, and there are certain ecological threats. There have been like floods and earthquakes. So there have been a lot of threats that have chronically been there in these regions, and that's why people tend to be wired to respond to threats in a very different way compared to loose cultures that have chronically not been exposed to threats, and they have had a more flourishing and a more safe environment. So they by default structurally they haven't created those structures to by default respond to threats or to safeguard themselves from threats. So we thought that tightness and looseness could be like a situation where this effect might differ. And tightness not necessarily doesn't necessarily only differ by countries. Even within the US, for example, different the 50 states within US also differ in the level of tightness and looseness. For example, the southern states are more tighter, whereas the western states are more looser. And even it could also apply in the context of industries or organizations. Like for example, if it's an airlines industry, that would tend to be much more tighter because they have exposed to much more risks and threats in their operations. Whereas like a creative agency that's into design might be more loose, like they might not be having that many stringent norms and rules to really keep everything tight. So tightness looseness is something that we thought would impact the way people respond to visual tightness and looseness in the design. So this is what was our conceptual framework. Basically, we said that interstitial space in logos would impact product safety, and this would actually be dependent on the cultural tightness and looseness of that consumer, and which would eventually make somebody really have a favorable or an unfavorable impression about the brand. And this we actually tested it empirically through 5 studies. So I'll just take you briefly through all the studies that we did. So in the first study, we actually looked at an archival data set from real world brands in the marketplace. So we have the BAV data set from Young and Rubicon, where they have like around 15,000 consumers across US have rated around 700 US brands on various imagery parameters. So we actually looked at product safety, a proxy for product safety in terms of reliable, secure, and trustworthy. And we actually visually coded all of those 700 logos on the extent of interstitial space that is present in between the text of that logo. So these are some examples of the compact logos without much space between the text. And these are examples of some of the spacious logos, which have a lot of space between the text. And then we ran the analysis, and we found that as space increases, people's preference for that brand decreases. And this particular preference is mediated by product safety. So it mirrors the same effect, saying as space increases, people's perception of safety coming from those logos comes down, and hence brand preference also comes down. So this is like a pilot, an effect that we found in the real market data. So we thought of going deeper into it and looking at conducting some experiments with some fictitious logos. So what we did in the next study is we brought in cultural tightness looseness. And as I mentioned, that US states differ across in terms of the tightness and looseness of the culture in that place. And as you can see on this map, you see the southern states are very tight, whereas the western ones are the loosest. So we actually like conducted an online survey where we showed people either a tight or a loose version of a fictitious brand of a grocery shopping app, and asked them to rate that brand on safety and attitude. So it was a between subject. So each person saw any one logo, not both. And then we actually then compared the responses across the conditions, and we see that it's only in tight cultures that this our hypothesized effect really is strong. And that makes sense because tight cultures are wired to look at threats and safety signals in a certain way. So whereas in loose cultures, they are indifferent. They don't care about whether how much space is there between a logo. So it's in the tight cultures that we see that as space increases, people's perceptions of safety and brand attitude comes down. And then we did the same study. We replicated the same study, but instead of just looking at a regional level of tightness, we actually looked at it as a personality variable. We measured cultural tightness as an individual attitude towards norms, following rules. So we picked up the measure from Michelle Gelfand's paper, and we replicated the same effect again. So among loose cultures, they don't care, but when you come to tight cultures, again, space tends to reduce the sense of safety and the attitude. And then the fourth study was a field experiment where we again went back and tried to do a real world experiment with real people, and not in a controlled experiment setup. So what we did is we had created a website which talked about online safety. How do you use online and how do you keep your data safe online? And we made two versions of the logo for that particular website. So these are the two versions. You have the compact and the spacious. And then we actually manipulated tightness again by region, by targeting whether this ad is targeted at the tightest states or the loosest states within US. And we also brought in a third condition, which is whether the website on which this ad is appearing, the Google display ad, whether that website has content regarding safety related topics or general topics. So you had the placement, the keywords that the page has. So like insurance, fire safety, those kind of topics versus just a control condition without any specific topic. And then we actually got around more than 11,000 impressions, and we looked at just the click-through rate in terms of how much are people clicking on that ad. So here we actually found the same effect that we had in the safety keywords condition, where the loose cultures are indifferent to which kind of logo is used. Whereas when it comes to tight cultures, the spacious logo really drastically reduced the click-through rate of that ad. Whereas in the control condition, we see both cultures behaving in the similar way. So this kind of relates back to our first study where we saw that in general, the effect is there where people tend to, prefer or the safety perceptions comes down when space is added. But when when the safety need is really high or safety issues are really salient, then tight cultures tend to continue behaving in the same way. Whereas for loose cultures, the effect gets washed out. And this, what we expect the reason this is happening is because for loose cultures, spaciousness might actually connote safety. Because we have also seen like the amor vacui thing coming in where people from loose cultures tend to really value their personal sense of space much more. And for them, if something is too crammed or cluttered, it makes them feel like it's too risky. So that might be like an opposite effect at play in loose cultures. So we just replicated that three-way interaction again with a lab study where again we used the similar context of an online grocery store, and you had like an online shopping app, and we said whether it is about ordering healthcare medicine products versus you are ordering some board games or some kind of a game to play at home. So we kind of manipulated the importance of safety, product safety, by bringing in that third variable, and again we found the same effect. So basically, like, these were the set of 5 studies through which we showed that the presence of interstitial space can actually reduce the sense of product safety, especially in tight cultures consistently. Whereas for loose cultures, it might have that effect in a regular situation, but when safety concerns become really high, at that point, there might be an effect that flips it and kind of cancels it out, because for them, space can also be a source of safety. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to your questions and knowing more about how this research can help you and what could be further explored in this space. Thanks.